Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of the Shooters Lounge podcast. I'm Matt at PostUp323. Don't forget, like and subscribe, guys, to the YouTube channel, and also catch us on the socials at Shooters Lounge 3. Guys, the playoffs is here. This is the best time of the year. This is where legends are made, dreams are dashed, talk is cheap. It's all about everything that's going on the basketball court, and eventually going to be crowned with the winners in the finals in June. Obviously, with the playoffs starting today, needed to have the best panel that I could gather. I couldn't find anybody, so I've got these three. We have back off. Well, he looks like he's back off vacation or holiday or something. We've got Cancun Holiday Services, aka George. What's happening, bro? Good to have you on, dude.
Yeah, mate. I had to get into the festivities. It was. I can assure everyone, it was sunny when I put these sunglasses on. But I don't really know what's happened behind me. It's all like disappeared. Yeah, mate. Honestly, late edition. Didn't expect I'd be here, but as always, whether I was on the podcast or not, I've produced my predictions, and my tournament tree is very much full.
Very nice, very nice. Good to have you on as always, dude. And I think he might be down in a bunker somewhere on the trade machine. Via satellite, we've got GM John. GM, good to see you again, bro. Well, I can't see you, but good to have you on, sir.
What's good, man? Yeah, gone underground for the playoffs. You can't see it growing the playoff beard. It's going to be big and bushy when the Lakers win. So, yeah, let's go.
Nice. 0 dark 30. We've gone dark.
Absolutely.
Like just quick question, John. Just give us a shout if you find a Brooklyn Nets fan down there, because I might know who he is.
He's in the sewers. He's not in the underground.
Anyway, moving on from that. Thanks, George. We've last but no means least, we've got main man AB. AB, what's happening, bro? Good to have you on the pod, dude.
What's going on, man? Good to be back. Good to be back to be talking playoff ball, man. Let's get to it.
Absolutely, bro. This is my favorite time of the year, bro. This is it. This is what it's all about. It's playoff time. This is where we're kicking off. We're starting today, and they're going to be, like I say, running all the way till June. The final playoff, the play-in games were last night, so we have a full bracket now. We've got the 7th and 8th seeds wrapped up. So we're going to be going through some of the series and, talking about some of the main talking points of each one, maybe chucking out a correct score prediction. And then at the end, if somebody wants to put their cojones on the line, want to say who's going to be in the finals and who's winning it all. So I think, shall we start East or West, guys? I'll let the panel decide.
I'll go East.
Lads.
The stunned silence said it all, guys. Thank you very much. Cheers for that.
I'll go East.
Teams out East tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, most of them. I don't know, some West as well.
Yeah,
we can go East.
East.
We'll go East first, then, dude. So kicking off, I think Jordan will like this one because we're kicking off with the number 1 seed, Boston Celtics, facing, which they seem like to face every year, the Miami Heat. Familiar faces, familiar foes, some would say. Managed to win the play-in last night. As this is one of your teams, George, with the Celtics, do you want to kick us off, bro? How do you see this one turning out? Are you worried of the Miami Heat as you've been stung in the past?
I'm always worried, man. I'm not gonna bullshit and say I am always worried with the Miami Heat. Like they are the only team in that Eastern Conference that genuinely scare me every year. Regardless on fitness, who's available, I don't care because it's Coach Spo that I'm scared of.
Yeah.
There's going to be no Jimmy Butler because he's got an MCL sprain. I know they're saying, he might make it back. He won't. It's an MCL sprain. He's done. However, they can still do it. They can still do it. Like, yes, does that injury put things massively, massively in our favour? Absolutely. But, being a Leeds United fan, I've got used to, things being easy and you still make an absolute pig's ear of it. So it's not absolute, is it? Having said that, realistically, there's no excuse for the Celtics not to win this series. Absolutely none whatsoever. We're full strength. Everyone's available, or everyone that we need to be available is available. On paper, if you brought someone in and who never watched a game of basketball in their life, but they knew sport, and you said these are the best players, look at their stats. These are the best players on the other team, look at their stats. This is how they've played all season. They would say, oh, they've got no chance. The Heat have got absolutely no chance. But it's a funny old game, isn't it? So, realistically, my love for Kristaps Porzingis could not be higher than it is right now.
No.
At the start of the season, everyone said that was a joke. Like we gave up too much. Well, you're not laughing now, are you? Because he's been exceptional all season. He has been Mr. Consistent for the Celtics. Every single game, he will put up the same stats. It's not when you're looking at an overview and you're seeing someone who's averaged a good amount all season, but then you're like, yeah, but where were they when it mattered? Porzingis just does his job. It's up to everyone else to, you can only expect so much of him. He's the third piece essentially, and he does a third piece's job. He does it on both ends. So realistically, we said all together that the Celtics needed a center, and they needed a point guard.
Yeah.
Well, this is it, isn't it? Really, this is it. So. We'll see, but if I had to predict, mate, I've actually given it the Celtics in 6, and that's probably generous, but I'm not going to get caught out by saying it's going to be a sweep and it's going to be 4-0. I know when we go to Miami, their fans decide to turn up when it gets to the playoff time. They've not been there all year, but they just appear out of nowhere in the playoffs. So it's going to be loud down in Miami. It's going to be tough. I'd expect at least one game. They should get one game on the road. Realistically, it should be, in my opinion, I think we should be blowing them out both games at home. I don't think there's an excuse. We should be setting the marker down and just saying, this is it. So I've got the Celtics in 6, mate. Can argue 5. Interested to see what you guys think, to be honest.
A very cautious Jordan this morning. This is not the Jordan I'm used to. It's going to be a sweep and everything, but no, quite cautious, bro. I like it, mate. Okay, GM John, do you echo Jordan's comments? Can you see Miami making this a series?
No. No.
Okay.
The Celtics are going to blow the Heat's back out. It's going to be a destruction. They haven't got Jimmy Butler, who's the only person who's actually really an actual gamer. The rest of them are very, very decent players. Pam Adebayo is very good. Duncan Robinson's not bad. Tyler Herro's fine. They don't have many. He's just their dog, and he's done. He's been put down basically for the rest of this playoff run.
Yeah.
Now, if they get through, which is going to happen, this could be a sweep. This really could be a sweep. I do not see the Miami Heat giving them any trouble. Maybe I'll give them a game, but obviously because they have an excellent coach in Eric Spoelstra, and so it's very possible they could take a game. But I'm being very generous in giving them one game. Yeah. Jimmy Butler is their guy, and he's not going to be there, so it's going to be very, very difficult for them, especially with Boston's depth across the board. They have great defense. They have great offensive players. They're really just really well constructed across the board. It's going to be very, very difficult for the Miami Heat to get anything out of this series at all.
They've worked that hard to get in, and then it might be a short series for them. Off to Cancun, they're going to have contact Jordan about the Cancun holiday services. So we'll see. AB,
they definitely need to pre-book.
Yeah. Pre-book, get in early, lads. Get the early bird deal. But sorry, GM, have you got a score prediction? Sorry.
I will go for being generous. I'll say 4-1 to the Celtics. 4-1. But nice. Realistically, I could easily see it being a sweep for the Celtics. They're an excellent team. Yeah. They've looked really good all year. The Heat seem to be in a bit of disrepute with Tyler Herro and Jimmy Butler kind of butting heads at the moment. So, I think this couldn't come at a worse time for the Miami Heat. They just don't seem to be gelling as a team or as individuals. So yeah, I don't know if this is probably their come to Jesus moment but it's not going to happen. It's a 4-0 sweep for me.
Okay, nice. Cheers, bro.
Mark, can I just jump in as well? Just give a brief aside to that.
Absolutely, mate.
So we've seen this before, haven't we, Jimmy Butler?
Yes.
Many times before. And all I will say is this the end for Jimmy Butler in Miami?
Of his career?
No, not of his career. Is this the end of Jimmy Butler in Miami? Because is he just going to look at this and think, you've actually given me nothing? We've meant to have Pat Riley, who's allegedly one of the best GMs, and he has not equipped me for the best he can. He's overpaid players that we've already got that aren't good enough to win a championship. And I have worked my arse off to get us to far, far, far further than we probably should have done, like twice now. He has carried them on his back and he's got nothing back. Is he actually just going to look at this? And this thing with Tyler Hero, I wonder what he said to Tyler Hero. Did he say, you can't win without me or something, you know?
I can tell you exactly what's going to happen with Jimmy Butler.
Oh, man. This is why GM John's in the bunker, mate. He's already working on trades already, man.
I literally just came up with it there as Jordan was talking, but I can tell you exactly what's going to happen. They're going to get their asses handed to them by the Boston Celtics. He's going to go into the offseason being like, you know, I can't win here. I've tried my best. I've given it my best shot I had. It nearly happened for us in the bubble, but it's not going to happen here. I want to go to the Knicks. I want to go back to being with Tibbs. I want to send Julius Randle the other way, and he's going to be a Knick. That's what's going to happen.
And you think he can win in New York?
I think he's a better chance of it in New York. Honestly,
I don't know about that. I think he just.
I think he's a decent chance.
Wow, GM breaking news on the Shooters Lounge podcast. This is how we do. This is how we do it.
New York, you just trade in a pile of coal for a lump of coal. It's like there's no difference, really.
Well, I think that team has excellent defensive. Like if they get all the players they want, they're going to be great in defense. That Knicks team, if they especially got Jimmy. I know he's not a elite defender. You got OG, you got Jalen Brunson. You've got a bunch of absolute ballers. It could really work.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. AB, you've been sitting quietly, patiently in the corner there, bro. Do you want to give us some thoughts on this series?
Yeah, obviously another season watching the Celtics and the Heat go out in the playoffs. For the whole season, the Celtics have just been the best team in the NBA. I mean, only 60-win team. I mean, I remember checking standards like 2 weeks ago. They had they were 11 games ahead of the Bucks, who were the second seed at the time, and it's like, what are they even playing for? Like, what's the point? We saw towards the end of the season, obviously, Tatum and they were just coasting because they already wrapped up the 1 seed. So, there's no point. You might as well just get ready for their playoffs, really. But yeah. Obviously, as Jordan mentioned, Porzingis has been a great addition for them. They've got balanced scoring, 3 20-point scorers, 20-plus point scorers, and obviously JB, JT, and Porzingis as well, who's really fit well in that Celtics system. Obviously, from a Jordan perspective, trading someone like Marcus Smart, who was like the heart and soul of the team, can sometimes be difficult because obviously, as fans, you get attached to certain players in there. Marcus Smart's one of those guys who, if he's on your team, you love him in it because of the toughness and the grit that he gives them. But obviously, this is why Brad Stevens is, as a GM, makes those sort of moves. And so far, it's worked out for him because Celtics number 1 offensive rating in the league and number 2 defensive rating. So overall, number 1 net team in the league. And yeah, I think anything other than an NBA Finals appearance is, I'm sure everyone else will agree, is probably the bare minimum, to get to the finals because by far they're the best team in the East. But obviously we know who they're going up against, the Miami Heat, and we know obviously from the play-in to the finals last year and all that kind of stuff, and Coach Spo, one of the greatest coaches ever, and Jimmy Butler, you can't cut him out. But the gig is up, man. It's over, man. You can't keep getting away with this. I'm sorry, it has to end. There's no way you can consistently do this. Nah, I'm not buying it because this year the half-court offense has just stunk. I mean, Tyler Hero's missed a lot of time. I felt that personally because he was in my fantasy team and I had him on my IR for so long thinking, oh yeah, Tyler Hero's going to come out. Every day I'm searching for Tyler Hero updates like I'm a Miami Heat fan. That's probably why I lost the fantasy championship. But that's neither here nor there. That's a totally other subject. But, yeah, I've got a personal vendetta against Tyler Hero.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously with Jimmy Butler being out as well, it's going to be difficult. I mean, I know Tyler Hero I think it was like 1 assist off a triple-double against the Bulls in the pain, but there's no way he's going to carry this team against the best team in the East, Boston Celtics. But yeah, I mean, obviously the Miami Heat, they always find gems in guys like Hammy Hackers Jr., Nikola Jovic, and obviously Haywood Highsmith. But like you're coming up against like the cream of the crop. Like there's only so much that hard work can get you when you're coming up against such a talented team.
Yeah.
So yeah, and obviously I don't want to count out their exposure factor, but the Celtics, they're just too good, man. They're just too good. And yeah, I can't lie. I think I'm going for a Celtic sweep. I think the Celtics sweep them. I think it's a huge momentum swing for them going into the second round. But yeah, obviously I wouldn't be shocked if the Heat get a game, but I just feel like they're just going to get dominated every game. And yeah, I don't think they really stand a chance. And as Jordan said earlier, I don't, with Jimmy Butler, we know how tough he is. Like even at the time of that injury, I was thinking, that's a tough one, man. And you're talking to a guy who knows about MCLs, LCLs, ACLs, any CL just because of Joel Embiid. And he's turned every Sixers fan into a doctor. So I know MCL sprains, are very, very difficult. I won't be surprised if he comes back to play like a game. Obviously, if they go like down 0-2 first game in Miami, he's probably going to want to try and show face to give like the team hope and stuff like that. And probably try and play, but yeah, I highly, highly doubt it. Like I'm surprised he even got through that game against the Sixers anyway. But yeah, I doubt it. And obviously, no Jimmy, even Jimmy at 50% is. I don't think that's good enough to get a game for the Miami Heat. So I'm going Celtics in 4. Heat getting swept.
Nice. Yeah, like you say, bro, it's like, the Heat, because the Heat did it last year, everybody thinks they're kind of going to do it again. But at some point, it's, that was just a Cinderella run that year. It doesn't mean it's going to do you're going to do the same every year. It's tough to do, isn't it, mate? And I think the Celtics team is a different animal this year. I think the Celtics top 6, I think it's the best top 6 players in the league. I don't think there's any team that have got a better top 6 than they have. So it's going to be a very tough outing, isn't it, for the Heat, man? And like I say, losing Jimmy is anybody who loses the best player, they're not going to be as good. And I think with Miami, there's such a space between Jimmy and everyone else. He kind of raises them all with him, doesn't he? So it's going to be a tough out for them guys. So I like to say, maybe you could say they're going to get maybe one game because Miami play a lot of zone, don't they? So if Boston have a bad shooting night, maybe they could steal a game. But I think that's as
that's a
for me point. That's as good as it's going to get, mate. I've got the Celtics in 4, bro. I think this is going to be a short one. So I think it's going to be a quick series, unfortunately for the Heat, but that means a lot more rest for Boston, George. So that might be a decent thing for you, bro.
Yeah, I'm not complaining, man. I mean, ultimately, we've had this debate. I think this was way back when we had this debate about does rest really make a difference? And yeah, obviously, you're thinking, oh well, surely it does, but we've seen time and time again it doesn't always. Teams that have blown their way through to the finals and then they've just been dumped out. It doesn't always matter. Sometimes, I still think the biggest word in the game is momentum. It's the same in any sport. You've got the momentum, and it's going to take some stopping. So
the big Mo.
Yeah, realistically, I think if I was thinking passionately like green coming out of my veins, I would be thinking it will be a joke if we don't get to the finals, to be honest. I think cordially speaking, I'd be disappointed if we didn't make it to the finals, but realistically, there can't be an excuse. There cannot be an excuse for not getting to the finals. We're so well equipped, unless all of a sudden everyone gets injured, which could happen. Let's be real. It could.
Not putting that juju in the air, yeah, mate.
But unless
fucking pray happens.
But unless that happens, I don't think there can be an excuse not to get to the finals. I really don't.
Yeah. Well, like you say, it doesn't always pan out the way you think it's going to be. Sometimes best team in the regular season, and then all of a sudden it's you're on the beach in Mexico somewhere wondering what happened. So
give me a call. Give me a call if you need
give me a call, Cancun Holiday Services. So I think we'll move on from that one, guys. So the next one, I think AB's got a stake in this one. We have the some would say the surprising 2 seed New York Knicks playing against also surprising 7 seed Philadelphia 76ers. AB, I think you're going to kick us off with this one, bro. How is Joel Embiid's knee, and how do you think this one's going to turn out, bro?
Oh man, I don't know how Joel Embiid's knee is. I mean, only he would have to tell you. But yeah, obviously Sixers beating the Miami Heat just about to get the 7th seed, and as we'll talk about this previously with Jordan before we went on air about Paul Reed's comments about obviously him saying he'd rather play like the Knicks than the Celtics. But yeah, either way, like we knew it was going to be a tough matchup either way, man, because they both pose like similar threats, and they're both obviously based on their seedings, they're both like teams that are gonna cause us issues and problems. And obviously with Joel Embiid's sort of issue as well, it's going to be difficult to see how healthy he is or how ready he would be for the series against. I mean, we already know how the Knicks are, and we already know how Coach Tibbs is as well. I mean, that final regular season game should tell you everything about Knick culture. The fact that they went to OT, the fact that Steven Chenzo and those guys were playing 50 minutes. I mean, in the last game of the regular season, Tibbs, wow. Like, they just, you know what, yeah, they're just such tryhards, but I just have to respect it. You have to respect it because they don't quit the game. And obviously, we're going to talk about the final Eastern Conference playoff series. We're going to talk about a particular team coming up who I believe cheated the game, but that's neither here or there. But coming into this series, it's going to be really tough. I mean, a lot of people are saying the Sixers aren't really a real 7th seed, given the fact that we were on pace to have a 60-win season when Embiid was on the floor before he got hurt against the Warriors. But yeah, going to be a tough series. As a Sixers fan, obviously under Nick Nurse now, saw a lot of changes in like rotations and things like that, and obviously bringing in guys. I feel like we have a lot more depth. We've got guys like Kelly Oubre now. I mean, we've got to talk about Batum, man. Fourth quarter, this is why we got Batum in. I mean, 20 points against
rolling back the years, AB. Rolling back the years, bro.
Crazy,
like, what's going on?
Crazy,
what is it?
Man,
is it 2012 again, man? What's going on, mate?
Must be. But yeah, that sort of depth is what we didn't have like in the previous seasons and things like that. So the added depth and the added coaching is something that and the improved coaching is something that I'm very, very optimistic about. But obviously, we know the Knicks, they're no slouches. I mean, we know they're a tough team defensively. Even though they don't have Julius Randle, I think that's probably an addition by subtraction, really, when you think about obviously his playoff struggles recently. But yeah, bringing in guys like OG Anunoby, obviously Josh Hart. On the last time on the pod, I spoke about him. I said he's one of my favorite players in the league to watch, just because of his toughness, just because of what he offers defensively as well. So they've been really good. Juice McBride as well. And yeah, they got, in terms of trying to stop Embiid, I mean, no one can really stop Embiid by himself, but they've got bodies that they can throw at him through, like Mitchell Robinson. Isaiah Hartenstein's really come into his own and become, I don't even want to call him a backup because he started so many games, but he's been really good at the 5 for the Knicks. And what do I think? The only thing that worries me from a Sixers perspective is, as well as Embiid's health, is they always panic in these games. It's like in these playoff series, like against the Miami Heat, like when the Miami Heat threw that zone out, I mean, it was just such a struggle just trying to watch them create offense. I think they try, even Batum mentioned it, they were trying to force the ball through Embiid a lot more, where you should be able to rely on other players, you should be able to rely on guys like Kelly Oubre to get you some points, Tobias Harris, Tyrese Maxey as well, who really struggled. So yeah, we're going to need Maxey to come up big, because we know that guy, Jalen Brunson, he's going to be up for it, man. That is a playoff performer right there. He's had a MVP type season, all NBA type season. I mean, he's a king in New York right now, man. You have to give it to him. So from a Sixers perspective, I don't know if we have anyone that can really stop Jalen Brunson. I mean, you can put Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry done really well in the Jimmy Butler matchup, but Jimmy Butler's getting up there with age, and Kyle Lowry is obviously he's getting up there with age himself, but Brunson, he's a physical. Even though he's only like 6 foot, he's still a physical guy. He likes to post you up. He likes to like draw contact and get to the line and get inside the paint. So yeah, trying to get someone to slow down Brunson is going to be the biggest challenge for the Sixers, and obviously for the Knicks, trying to get someone to slow down Embiid, etc. So yeah, it's all about the others, really. It's all about the others. One of my big concerns, we spoke about this in the last pod, Matt, is Tobias Harris, man. Tobias Harris, I'm going to repeat these stats. Tobias Harris against the Knicks this year in 4 games, had a total of 25 points. In 4 games against the Knicks this year, he scored 5 points in the first game, shooting 2 for 6. He scored 7 points in the second game, 11 points in the third game, and a whopping 2 points on 1 for 6 shooting in the last game against the Knicks. And that's a guy that's on $37 million this year. That's meant to be your second best player. So if that's the sort of output we're getting from our quote unquote second best player or third best player, then it's a wrap, man. Let's just Cancun services, Jordan. Let's get us. Yeah. We need what's that? 8 deck chairs for our 8-man rotation. Couple of towels. A couple massage guns. Yeah, I'm gonna have to contact you. But yeah, I say all that to say this. Obviously, for my prediction, I want to say, my heart says I want the Sixers need to get this series done. They can't let this go to a Game 7. I'll tell you that. Because whether it's in Wells Fargo Center, whether it's in MSG, they can play it in my local park. They can play it at the Copper Box Arena in London. I don't trust the Sixers in the Game 7 at all. I don't trust them. I don't care. We could have a combination of coaches from Red Auerbach, Eric Spoelstra, Pat Riley. They can all be
Doc Rivers.
The Sixers. No, not him. But yeah, I don't trust the Sixers in the Game 7, so they have to get it done in 6. My prediction is Sixers in 6. I'm not gonna lie, it's more hope. I'd say it's 60% hope, 40% expectation. But if this goes to a Game 7, guys, like all bet is done, man. I'm just gonna the Knicks will take it. But yeah, obviously key thing is Joel Embiid. It's a bit of an up and down in terms of Rusty's missed so much time, so we don't know if it's going to get worse the longer he plays with this knee issue, or is it going to get better because it's going to be a longer time since he's had the surgery. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it's going to be a tough series. Jalen Brunson and those boys, they're going to be up for it, and yeah, it's going to be grueling, man. It's going to be grueling going up against this Tom Thibodeau-led team. But yeah, Sixers in 6, and hopefully they get it done, man. I don't want to see no more Game 7s, man.
No, definitely not, mate. Definitely not. GM John, what are you thinking about this matchup, bro?
It's really intriguing. This is health is going to play a huge part in this playoff series. If Joel Embiid is really clicking, I think 76ers could run away with it, because I don't think the Knicks really have. They're going to, like Avery said, they're going to throw bodies at him, but I don't think they have enough. There's no one there who can. Like Joel Embiid's 280 pounds. The closest person they have to him is Julius Randle, and Julius Randle is significantly smaller than him. He plays big, but he's not a great defender, so it's not really very, very applicable. If Joel Embiid is 70% or 80%, it's going to be a very close series. The Knicks are like a really good unit together. AB brought up a really good point. I think Randle coming back into this team is actually to their detriment rather than their benefit. I think
he's not back though. He's out.
Yeah, Randall's out, bro. He's done.
Oh, he's out.
Yeah, he's done.
Yeah, he's done.
That changed a lot then. Yeah, I still think I think this could go 7. I have a strange feeling this will go 7. It doesn't feel like a quick series. One player actually I think who many people are talking about, I think is going to have a huge influence on this series, is probably Buddy Hield. I think Buddy could be quite big in this series. As in, there's got Joel Embiid's going to get double teamed. That sounds wrong. He's Embiid is going to get man marked out of. They're just going to throw as many, rather than they know they can't just throw one person at him, so they're going to throw multiple. someone's going to be open, and more than likely, if it's going to be Buddy Hield, and he can be if he gets an open shot, he can be a sniper. I think he could be a really important part of the series. But yeah, it's for me. My heart says the 76ers. My head says the Knicks. Honestly, at this moment in time, I could not. If Embiid's healthy, it's the 76ers to lose. If he's not fully healthy, I think the Knicks squeak it by the closest of margins. I think this is going to be. I'm not going to say it's going to be an all-time series, but it's going to be I think this is going to be a belter. This could be really, really good.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Okay, George, do you have any thoughts on this one, dude?
Oh, well, I've got quite a few thoughts, actually.
Oh, no.
Thoughts. Now, I'm going to read you a definition, and it's going to sum up basically everything I'm going to say. Right? It's not about being content with less or celebrating difficulty. It's about making the most of whatever you happen to have. That is a definition of grit and grind. And that is what this series is going to be. AB, you can call Cancun Services if you want, but let me tell you something. I'm not accepting your booking, bro, because you're winning this series. I am telling you right now. I am honestly, as intrigued as it is, and I agree with pretty much everything John's just said, even if this goes to a game 7, I am going to be, the whole time, I am thinking Sixers are winning this. Sixers are winning this. And I think my whole relationship with the Sixers is well documented on this podcast and in others. But ultimately, I've got a lot more respect for the Sixers than I have for the Knicks. The Knicks fan base alone, I'm not even going to comment on it. And you see this with teams like Arsenal and forgive me, Lord, for saying this, Leeds United, right? Football. I'm giving it a bit of a comparison. Both got very passionate fan bases, very, very passionate. Arsenal to the absurd level. Leads to the we are the best in the world, I don't care what anyone says, arrogance level. And they bottle pretty much most things that they're involved in. And that's because of the expectation from the crowd to get the job done. I don't care what anybody says. You've seen it time and time and time again. They crumble when the crowd are getting onto them. And that is exactly what will happen with the Knicks. And that's the reason, AB, that even though you're saying we can't let it go to a game 7, I think that might as well be a home game for you in game 7 because the tension in the Garden is going to be unbelievable. And they'll fold and they will crumble because they've not got a single player in that team that has been there and done it. No one. There is no one in that roster that has been there and done it. It was even, and not just been there and done it, they've not even got close. They've not even sniffed the playoff logo. So
they got. To be fair, he was. I was gonna say they got OG Anunoby, but when the Raptors won the championship, he was injured. He was hurt.
And how old is he as well? Though that's the other thing. He's what, mid-20s. So he's not got that experience factor. It's not like he's even like a Fred VanVleet or a Kyle Lowry. Yeah, they might be useless on the court, but they've got that sense in the locker room. He won't have that because he's not got the wear and tear that some of the other people that I've named have got. But ultimately, it comes down to this. It comes down to Tibbs being a magician at times. I know he's a bit controversial and he does some things right, but also quite a lot wrong. But he's managed to come back from the edge. Pretty much everyone was thinking last season, this is going to be the end of Tibbs in New York. And he's projected him up to the 2 seed. So, well done. Now it's time to go home. Give me a call, New York.
Wow.
Sixers in 7.
6 in 7. Very nice. Okay. I mean, didn't look like any team in the East wanted the 2nd seed, and the Knicks said, "Well, yeah, we'll take it then. We'll have the 2nd seed." Didn't seem like anybody wanted it. So
good idiot.
Well, kudos to them, mate. I mean, anybody who said at the start of the year that the Knicks would be the 2nd seed, I think, would raise a few eyebrows. So, good season for them. They've had a lot of injuries along the way, and they've just kept going. Like AB says, Brunson is the the king of New York at the moment. I mean, the man can't do no wrong at the moment. So, you know, why not? Like you say, it's going to be a hell of a series, isn't it? This one. It all comes down to me, man. Is the health of Embiid. I don't know about you, AB, but I haven't liked what I've seen with him really in terms of health. You can tell he ain't 100%, bro, is he? I don't even know if he's 80%. I'll be honest. So it doesn't look good out there, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I think in the post game, in the plane, I think he said he was like 70 to 80%. But yeah, but Embiid always has this thing, like he always like. So obviously he's got a knee brace. He always like play around with it and fiddle with it, and obviously we know he likes to go to ground and things like that. He always gets the fans' anxiety up when he does things like that. But I think I've just grown accustomed to it at this point.
Yeah, that's just managing the Embiid. It's just it's a year-round job, isn't it, mate? So
yeah,
like you say, you know, Maxey has got to be that guy, hasn't he? For Philly to have a chance, I think Maxey's got to be the third best player in the series, hasn't he? So it's going to be Embiid and Brunson, but can Maxey be the third best player in the series? I think that's going to be important for you guys, isn't it? And you know, like you say, Knicks have got a lot of big guys they can throw at Embiid, and they're a physical team as well. So that's going to wear Embiid down, man. It's going to be a long series, I think. But I think, you know, Philly wouldn't be in this position, bro, if Embiid had been healthy, mate, would they? What was the record with Embiid? Like 31-8 or something with Embiid in the lineup. So if Embiid had been healthy, mate, you wouldn't be the 7th seed, would you? Which I think you'd have probably been the third seed or 2nd seed, wouldn't you? So, you know, so I think in terms of health, because I don't think Embiid's healthy, bro. I'm going Knicks in 6. I think. All respect, AB, but I think if Embiid was healthy, mate, I think, you know, it's definitely going 7. 2 very good coaches, man. Just want to point that, you know, 2 very good coaches. So the guys are going to be ready. They're going to be well prepared, aren't they, and stuff like that. So it's. Sorry, go on,
Can I
bro.
just say something really quickly before you finish up?
Yeah, go, bro.
I have two kind of points. One, the Knicks. I actually have to applaud the Knicks front office because they really could have. It would have been easy for them to cut the cord with Tibbs a while ago. It really would have been kind of quite simple for them to do it.
Yeah.
But they stuck. They realized that bringing in Coach Tibbs, he has a philosophy he wants to play. His teams play hard. They play dirty. They play grimy. I think to a certain extent it mirrors what New York is like a bit. It's a bit rough. It's a bit rough around the edges. It's a bit tough. It's loud, it's crude, it's all these different things. But I think he has a team that matches the identity of the city, and that's the reason why they get behind him so hard. So, yeah, I really applaud them for keeping Tibbs and not kind of cutting the cord when things were getting tough for the last couple of seasons. And the second thing is, regardless what happens with the 76ers this season, they are going to be a different animal next year. They are going to be serious contenders next year. They have 77 million in cap space. They can bring in 2 max contracts, and they can still extend Tyrese Maxey as well to a big contract. They're going to be a problem next year, a legitimate problem. I don't think that even with a fully healthy Joel Embiid, I still don't think this is their season. But next year, I think they're going to be blowing out teams if they get the right players in.
Yeah, nice. GM John always coming with the facts, bro. When it comes to salary caps and stuff like that, love it, mate. But yeah, I've got Knicks in 6. So, but yeah, I think this is going to be an interesting series, mate. This is going to be a war, I think, and yeah, it's probably going to go into the later games. So, I think we better move on, guys, or else we'll be here till the first tip off at 6 p.m. So, the next one is we're going to go with speaking of Doc Rivers, it's his Milwaukee Bucks versus the 6th seed Indiana Pacers. Again, another series that we're talking about health. It seems like every matchup in the East is there's a question mark on 1 or 2 players in each series. So again, this one obviously Giannis going down with this calf strain. It's, you know, that's a big blow to the Bucks because Giannis has had a hell of a season. He's the stats he's been put up has been unreal, hasn't it? Against this kind of young run and gun Indiana Pacers led by Tyrese Halliburton. They like to run, they like to shoot threes, don't play a lot of defense. They need to kind of tighten the screws when it comes to defense if they want to come through this one. I think the Pacers have kind of owned the Bucks somewhat this season, beat them in the in-season tournament. I think this is a bad matchup for the Bucks, guys. I don't know about you. I think if obviously question marks again on Giannis, can he come back? I think he's definitely out game one. We might not see Giannis, bro, because if we don't see Giannis, mate, I think the Pacers are moving to round two, man. I think they're young. They've got players like Siakam, Turner. So I think they're gonna, the Bucks they just look old, and I think the Pacers are gonna run up and down the court, and I think it's gonna be, for me, Pacers in 6. I've got the Bucks early exit, and the Doc Rivers coronation begins again as just not being good enough. They've just had a weird year, the Bucks, changing coach in the middle of the season, and I just think it's going to be a tough out for the Bucks. So I've got Pacers in 6. So AB, do you want to give us some thoughts on this one, dude?
Yeah, yeah, this is not a great matchup for the Bucks at all. I mean, you mentioned it earlier. They went 1-4 against the Pacers this season. Yeah, and this was before the Siakam trade as well. So they've obviously Siakam coming in as a two-way player as well. So yes, as a two-way sort of star as well. So yeah, it's going to be tough for the Bucks, and with the Giannis injury as well. We spoke about this earlier. You lose your best player. I don't care what team you are. That is going to affect you. That's going to affect you, no doubt. And yeah, the Bucks, their roster is just old. I mean, Brook Lopez, obviously bringing in Pat Bev, Dames pushing past 30 as well. And then you couple all that with Doc Rivers. I mean, I would not want to be a Bucks fan, man. I mean, what was their record on the Adrian Griffin? Was it 30-13 or something like that? Yeah,
something like that, mate. Yeah, it was up. Yeah. It was up there. I think they've been 500 under Doc, haven't they? They've been 500.
Yeah, I think they might have been even sub 500. We're gonna have to check it, but yeah, they have not been great. And yeah, obviously the Pacers run and gun offense, second best offensive rate in the NBA this year. Tyrese Halliburton, he likes to push the floor and things like that as well. And it's gonna be so tough for the Bucks. I don't see how they hang with the Pacers team. Yeah, they don't. I don't think they have the legs either. The Bucks, they just can't afford to lose this series though. If the Bucks lose this series to the Pacers, they need to make big moves in the offseason. They need to make a lot of changes. I don't know whether that be coaching, GM, they need to make some changes, man. They need to make some changes because I'm not liking their chances. And with regards to Giannis, we just need to find out what they're saying. When he will come back is the biggest thing. But yeah, I don't like their chances. I don't like the fact they have Doc Rivers, who we know is going to be stubborn in terms of rotations and adjustments and things like that. He's just going to go with the players that he trusts in, essentially. And yeah, the more I look at this, the more I favor the Pacers. I'm not gonna lie. I think I might take the Pacers, I think I might take the Pacers to beat the Bucks. I think I'm going with Indy. I'm going with their high flying offense. I'm going with Tyrese Halliburton. I'm going with Siakam and those. But yeah. Give me the Pacers in. But then again, I'm thinking about it because the thing is, Dame just struggled so much this year. He just hasn't been great at all. It's so tough, man. It's so tough. I don't know.
Oh, maybe. I've got to nail you down to an answer, bro. Come on, dude.
Look outside. I've got a fence there for you to sit on, mate.
I've said the Pacers. I have to go with what I've seen this season. But the Pacers have been a better team this season. Bucks have been in free fall ever since they brought in Doc Rivers. The Giannis injury is something that you have to pay attention to. Give me the Pacers in 7. I'm going with the Pacers in 7. Bucks. Another first round exit, and yeah, a whole heap of changes on the way down in Milwaukee. Maybe a couple trade requests as well. We don't know. Pacers in 7.
Pacers in 7. Nice. Got an answer out of him eventually. Like it, mate. Like it. George, you had your hand up earlier. I don't know if you were just stretching or what, but you want to give us some thoughts, bro?
Well, this is what I'm invested in. And this is because going into this season, I was keeping a very close eye on the Bucks because I was presuming that they would be our main rivals. As it turns out, they're not. Giannis, like I've just said to you, the Milwaukee Sports Journal is saying that Giannis is confirmed out. That was the early hours of this morning.
Out the whole series?
No, confirmed out first game.
First game, yeah.
It's not been announced publicly, but that's what their sources. But their source might be "Trust me, bro." So, I don't know about that, but it wouldn't be surprising, would it, if he's out first game? Realistically, I think I've used that word quite a lot today. Realistically, I've said that quite a few times. I expect the Bucks to win this series.
Okay, nice.
However, that is before all the politics and the bullshit spread into the court and leaked everywhere all over that building. Fiserv Forum is just flooded with political bollocks. The whole reason the wheels fell off in their season was firing Adrian Griffin. Now, I don't know if something went on in the background because surely it must have done. You don't hire a rookie first coach that you are giving a big break to halfway through a season to hire Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers, this is not like Eric Spoelstra's just waded in and took out. You've got Doc Rivers, one of the 25 best coaches of all time. Sorry, Matt, I had to get it in there.
It's like his byline.
Top 15, I beg your pardon.
Top 15.
He's up there dining at the table with Red Auerbach, apparently.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Ultimately, it boils down to this. You've got a Pacers team that are red hot, that are hungry for it. This is not the finished article either. So they have all of a sudden, and I tell you something, for all the credit that Tyrese Halliburton has been getting, and rightly so, because this will be the series that puts Tyrese Halliburton on that superstar bracket. He is going to be very close to that level after this series has been and gone, because he is going to push his team so hard. I guarantee you, I'm going to lay a bet down right now, he will have one game in this series where he gets 20 plus assists.
Nice.
Because it is all flowing through him. It is all flowing through him. And a 20 plus assist game is not very common. But everything is flowing through him. He has got such responsibility. It's a case of an old head on young shoulders. Because he sees the court like he's been playing in the league 10, 12 years. And this will elevate his stock even higher than it already is right now, which it already is high enough. But credit as well to Rick Carlisle.
Yeah.
Because that is a championship winning coach that you've brought out of Dallas, and everyone sort of forgot about him for the first few months. I had conversations with people where they say, "Oh, who's coaching the Sixers now? Who's coached the Sixers? Who's coaching the CAD Sixers on the brain, man?"
So a good thing.
Who's coaching the Pacers now? And I honestly don't know. I was Rick Carlisle. I'm like, really, he's at the Pacers now, and what a job he's done, because there's been no spotlight really whatsoever on the Pacers until recently. They were going like everyone was like, "Oh yeah, that Tyrese guy. He looks good. He looks like he looks like a good player. He looks like something." That was it. That was the end of the conversation. And now they've just crept into the playoffs and they're poised to take down the Bucks. But this could be very much a case of the Bucks chickens all coming home to roost at the right time, because you've got Lillard who's going to be back. He's going to be firing. I mean, Doc Rivers again. Whether you can take it at face value, I don't know. But he said that Damian Lillard looks very good at the minute. Giannis is going to probably be back game. I'd say conservative guess game 3. But I still expect if Lillard is in there, Dame, I know you're not going to be watching this, but if you are, this is what you wanted, bro. This is what you want. You wanted this. Now go out there and prove that you want it, because you are in the best. You can carry your team now. You can be that Portland guy if you go out there and do it, because you've got no one to share the court with. You can carry this team through 2 games at home. And if I'm a Bucks fan, I'm sitting there thinking, I expect that, because you have come here with all the smoke and all the talk that you want to win in Milwaukee. This is your chance, bro. Go out there and prove it, because all season I have seen a floundering Lillard who's looked lost with being the A2, Giannis's A1. He's looked more like a B player. And we all know he's a superstar. So where is that? Because go out and show us. You wanted to be in this position. I know he wanted Miami, but you wanted.
Cheers to you for that, bro. Nice one, mate.
You wanted to be in a contender spot, trying to win a championship. You're in the allegedly weak Eastern Conference. This is your chance to get to a final series. You're now leading this team for at least, in my opinion, 2 games, both at home. The spotlight's going to be on him, and he can deliver, but will he?
That's the thing.
It boils down to that. I'm going to say, I feel kind of stupid for saying about AB sitting on the fence, because I'm kind of doing the same thing. I originally wrote down Bucks in 7, but you could easily argue Pacers in 6 or 7. But I'm going to stick to my guns. I still think one way or another, Giannis is going to just find a way. Like he so often does, he will just find a way to drag the Bucks kicking and screaming out of this series. And I think it's just a case of this maybe coming a couple of years soon for the Pacers. If we were having this
if he doesn't come back?
If he doesn't come back all series, then it's a wrap. But I'm going off this is why these things are so hard to predict. I was talking about injuries earlier. It makes it so much harder. Because you can look like a fool at the end of it. But presuming he comes back for game 3, I think he will just find a way to pull them out of this series. And realistically, I think it just goes down to Dame. Realistically, it shouldn't matter if Giannis is injured or not. We brought you in to be that guy, and you need to go out there and do it. And if you don't, then you might as well stay in Portland.
That's it, bro, isn't it? Yeah, like you say, he wanted. That's where he wanted to be. So he wanted to be at the championship contending team. So it's time to put up or shut up, isn't it, bro? GM John, your thoughts on this one, pal?
First off, I want to start by saying nothing gives me more pleasure than watching Doc Rivers fuck up. Nothing. I love it. It's like that, like your favorite meal that you never get tired of. It's just fucking delicious. Every time he messes up, it's just brilliant. Don't get me wrong, I really, really, really enjoy this Milwaukee Bucks team. Not as currently constructed with Doc Rivers, but as a whole, they're a great organization. They're well run. They've got good players. This series is going to be a wrap if Giannis isn't back before game 3. Because I can easily see this being 2-1, 3-0 to the Pacers by game 4. Like by game 4, I can see it being not out of distance, but it's going to be far enough away where like Giannis is going to have to basically play perfect to keep him in contention. Otherwise, I think they run away with the first 3 games. If he's not back by game 4, it's a wrap. But this is what I can see happen. I can visualize this happen right now. I can see it being game 2 that you'll hear rumblings of like, oh, Giannis is 50-50 for game 3. And then like in WWE style, you just hear Stone Cold Steve Austin's music, the glass break, and Giannis comes busting down through and absolutely dominates and takes game 3. And that's where it goes on from there. If that happens, then I think it could be a Bucks Bucks series to lose, but that's also given Doc Rivers a lot of credit in terms of he will find a way to fuck up. Doc Rivers is the most capable fucker upper I've coached. Like, he's just I'm lost for words about him sometimes. But yeah, if Giannis is back before Game 3, I think the Bucks take it. But they, like you said earlier on in the segment, they do look pretty old at the moment. But I also think this Pacers team is relatively inexperienced in playoff matters. So that could be experience could edge out youth, but exuberance might take that experience. So it's going to be very close. But if Giannis is back before Game 3, it'll be the Bucks series to win. If he's not back before Game 4, I think it could be 1-5. They could win in 5 games. It really depends on Giannis' health. If he's back Game 2, I think it could be over in 6. So yeah, all depending on what happens. If Giannis is back before Game 3, Bucks. If he's not back before Game 4, Pacers.
Yeah, it can swing that way that much because with a player like Giannis, if he's playing or not, that that's the kind of influence that he has, isn't it, guys? It goes without saying, doesn't it? So I think we need to rename this podcast to the Doc Rivers Fan Club. I swear to God, because I swear he gets a mention every time we do this. So it's.
I don't think any NBA fans, like all of us all together, I don't think we've always been united in our hate for Doc Rivers. There's never been it's like, do you ever see the meme of the Bloods and the Crips holding up the same kind of do-rag? That's what it feels like. Everyone just equally all hate Doc Rivers. It's just a universal thing. Water is wet. Doc Rivers is a piece of shit.
And there's your soundbite for the day, guys. Thank you very much. So, moving on to the final series of the East, guys. We've got the 4-5 matchup. We've got the Cleveland Cavaliers against the 5th seed Orlando Magic. The Cavs, it's pretty safe to say that, they wanted to be the 4th seed. That final game, they chucked all their bench guys out. The end of the bench. I think there was a podcast called that once. And they lost to the Charlotte Hornets on the final day of the season and dropped to the 4th seed. Could have been the 2nd seed. I think this is where they wanted to land against a young Orlando Magic. GM John, we'll swing back to you, bro. What your thoughts on this 4-5 matchup, dude?
I think they're going to regret this mightily. I don't love the Magic. I don't love them, but I love their depth. I love their strength and depth across the roster. They don't have anyone that's like a superstar, but they have plenty of Paolo's as close as you're going to get. But they just have a bunch of really, really strong players. Don't get me wrong, the Cavaliers do too. Obviously, Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Jared Allen. They have some really good players, but I like the Magic's. I like their continuity. I like their style of play. I like how they really play for each other. They enjoy playing together. Cavaliers, they're a good team. They are a very, very good team. But for me, I could see this being, I could see this Magic in 6. I really could.
Okay.
Like I really think they're a solid squad. Don't get me wrong. It wouldn't surprise me at all if the Cavaliers won 5. It's a more even matchup than I think people are going to give it credit for. But I really enjoy the Magic's depth across the roster. I think they just have a lot of really, really solid players. Obviously, the biggest superstar in this series is Donovan Mitchell. Like, he is a legitimate, I'm not going to call him superstar, but he's a tier below being an uber superstar. But yeah, for me, I really think this Magic team has something about them. Like, they're not going to be a pushover. And they're going to take that slight of the Cavaliers wanting to play them As in, like, we could be a 2 seed, and it's like, and we lost to one of the worst teams in the league just so we got you. Like, they have that, like, they have their picture on, like, the dartboard. Like, they know that's. Sometimes you just need to give a team a reason to fucking just not to like you and just to want to beat them even more. They want all this smoke. They're going to want to beat this team badly because they're like, you just disrespect us by wanting to play us. It's like, okay, you got what you wanted. Here we go. Yeah. I think the Magic really could take this game in 6. It's gonna be a hard fought series, but I think the Magic have a lot of kind of nobody believes in us kind of mentality right now. And I think that could swing the series.
Absolutely, yeah, nice. George, any thoughts on this one, bro?
Jesus Christ, I don't know what happened there. I think the first thing for me is that this is the series that is potentially the most forgettable one out of the lot, and that's no disrespect to the Cavs or the Magic. It's one I look at, and this is on both sides, East and West. I just look at this and I just think, ugh. Yeah. If this is on TV, I'm thinking, nah. I think I can manage one more game on Football Manager first before I watch this.
Wow.
It's disrespect, bro. The disrespect.
It might be disrespect. And for anyone who is a Cleveland Magic, a Cleveland Cavaliers fan, or an Orlando Magic fan, all I can say about the disrespect is I do not care.
I know that. I go to that saying, bro.
It's the main story running into this, and this is not a joke. Like, the most clicked thing that when I was searching up this morning, Matt, when I got up at the good old hour of 8 and decided I was going to jump on it, I looked into this more than any of the others because I thought this is the one that I probably know the least amount, really.
Yeah.
I've been on a restricted schedule this year. I've not been able to watch as much as I wanted to just because of how the shift patterns have been, but looking at this, the number one talked about topic is Donovan Mitchell going to leave Cleveland after this playoff series? And it's like, are we even going to talk about the game or anything else? No, not interested.
Talking about the off-season already, mate.
The off-season already. And it's like, it's a typical 4 and 5th seed where both of them are just distinctly average. And it's a proper 4 and 5 series where whoever wins this goes out next round anyway. So it's a moot point at that extent. It's not like you've got someone who, the Pacers in the 6th seed, I think they're better than both these teams. But that aside, not doing the whole off-season chat, let's focus on this series. The Cavs have just... They've not just plateaued. They've gone backwards, I think. They're in the 4 seed, great, but they've not developed. I don't know if everyone will agree with me on this, but I don't think they've developed as well as we maybe thought they were going to do 2 years ago. What do you guys think about
that? Certain players, especially, I've been disappointed in Evan Mobley, man. I really wanted him to take that next jump, especially offensively. We all know defensively he has that potential, but offensively he just hasn't really blossomed to the point where you'd think he'd take that jump. So that's probably been the biggest disappointment for me personally. And I think when you think about guys like Isaac Okoro as well, I think he just is where it is at this point in terms of shooting. That's why they brought in guys like George Niang in the off season, because they gotta get shooting, especially if you're gonna play like Twin Towers and Mobley and Allen. I mean, you're gonna have to get shooting around them. But Evan Mobley, biggest disappointment for me personally, the lack of offensive game development.
I don't think it's helped. He's been injured a couple of times this year again, hasn't he? Which I don't think he's progressed like they wanted him to, bro. I think what you're saying, AB, isn't it? I don't think. Also, Garland's been out, Mitchell's been out. They've just had kind of one of those seasons really where they haven't all been healthy together at the same time. So it's been a bit of a kind of stop-start season for Cleveland, I think, man. I don't know if you think the same, GM.
Cleveland, as a state, it's not even, as in Ohio, as a city,
even state,
it's distinctly average. It's a city. it's distinctly average, and their team is distinctly average.
Yeah.
The three best things ever to come out of Cleveland are LeBron James, and LeBron James.
Nick Paul.
Hey, what about Steph Curry, man?
Oh, nice.
Hey.
He's from Akron.
Hey,
They're both from Akron.
Yeah.
Their boys are from Akron. But
True.
no, Cleveland is just. I would actually agree. I think they have regressed. I don't think they've showed so much promise, and I don't think it's really panning out for them.
Yeah.
I would agree. I just don't. It doesn't feel like a good fit. The team they have right now just doesn't fit. They're not bad. Not bad by any stretch of the imagination. They're like a pretty decent team, but I'd also agree with Jordan. They're good, but they're upper mediocre. They're not good, but they're upper mediocre.
Mm.
Like they're on the precipice of being a good team, but they're not.
No, they're not. Yeah. Joe, did we get a season prediction off you, bro, for this one?
Just going back to it, mate, I think realistically, the Cavs, on paper, they should be better than they are in reality.
Yeah.
And I don't want to put that on JB Bickerstaff because I don't think that's fair. I think he's a very sound coach. Don't think he's anything amazing. Don't think he's poor. Just think he's
kind of middling, isn't he? Yeah.
Serviceable. He's very serviceable.
But without being disrespectful to JB Bickerstaff, I've already disrespected enough people already. I just think that he sums up the Cleveland Cavaliers. It's very steady. It's safe. It's too safe. It's not going to be good enough.
Yeah.
Maybe before they even think about moving any pieces or doing anything, they should change their coach. I'm usually an advocate against this kind of thing.
They just gave an extension.
But you know what? In that case, I'm not even going to argue for it because you've just signed your own fucking death warrant. You've just signed your own mediocrity right for the next 5 years. It's not going to change. And I think if you're doing that, you might as well just trade everyone and start afresh because the first port of call for this team with how it's set up should be change the coach, get an Adrian Griffin in. Because you've got young guys that are more likely to listen to a newer coach than maybe in Milwaukee, where this is Giannis's turf and he knows best. Give him a chance in somewhere like Cleveland, where there's no expectations. We've got a young team that can still be molded, but all of a sudden you let another 5 years tick down on JB Bickerstaff's contract, where if he's not able to get any improvement, you've just wasted the development of these players. When you could get someone in that can actually turn it around and make them into better players. I'd give that a go first, but as that's not going to happen, people probably are going to get traded this offseason. And would a Donovan Mitchell trade request surprise me? I think so. Because we saw how happy he was to just keep plugging away in Utah. And maybe that's different because that's the team that drafted him and everything else. But I think he does seem like he's happy in Cleveland. He seems like he's a lot more happy with his team.
I don't know.
I mean, at the end of the day, he had Rudy Gobert in Utah, so he's always going to be happier than he was there. But I think AB, I completely agree with you. Evan Mobley's a guy that I had a lot of. I was thinking he's going to be something special because he had that jump right out the gate. It wasn't a case of give a centre 3 or 4 years in the league. Give him half a season and he's already showing what he can do. But that offense has not come. It doesn't look like it's coming either, which is a shame because I thought he was really going to spread the floor. I thought he was going to spread the floor, and he's good. Well, that is just not come. I mean, at this point in time, Jarrett Allen's probably going to be a better player than him overall. I know they all play together, but. If it was a choice between Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen, I'm starting Jarrett Allen. Ultimately, I think it boils down to it's a mediocre series that I don't really care about. But I think the Cavs will win. Home court advantage Home court advantage will pay. I've got the Cleveland Cavaliers. This might tick a few people off, and they might be like, "What are you talking about?" But I want this recorded, Matt, and I want this played back to me after this series finishes. I think the Cavs take this in 5.
Really? Okay. Very nice.
Because I just don't think the Magic are ready.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
I really like their coach, though. Jamal Mosley, great coach, but I just don't think they're ready for this.
Okay. AB, you got a series score for us, bro?
Yeah. First of all, obviously we mentioned this earlier, but I just want to say the Cavs, they ran from the ground that last regular season game. I mean, pathetic. They could have gone as high as the 2 seed. And we spoke about the Knicks earlier and how Tiff, even in the old overtime game, in the final game of the regular season, still played these players, still wanted to win as many games as possible and still finish as high as possible. The Cavs, they definitely saw this. They definitely saw what was going on in other games, and they started to pull starters. I mean, they ended the game with like Isaiah Mobley, Tristan Thompson, and Amani Bates getting outscored 18-2 by the Hornets. And the thing that makes it even worse is that the Hornets actually were tanking as well. They needed to lose that game so that they could get increased odds in the lottery. I think it was 12.5% odds, or just be outright to have the third best outright lottery odds. Instead of joint with San Antonio and the Portland Trailblazers. So they actually needed to lose, and they ended up winning the game. So yeah, pathetic from the Cavs, and they ran from the grind. And I think it's all to sell Donovan Mitchell project to tell them, look, okay, we finished as the 4 seed this year, but we won a playoff series because it's a more favorable than going up against Philly or Miami. Because obviously being a 2 seed and losing in the first round is like you didn't really achieve anything. So they basically sold their soul for a potential first round playoff series win, which is disrespectful to the Magic, and it's they're cheating the game is the way I see it. And yeah, I don't respect that at all. And yeah, hopefully, I hope as John mentioned earlier, the Magic are listening to that guys like Banchero, Jalen Suggs. I hope like Jamal Mosley is telling these guys that listen, they didn't respect you. Like they wanted to come up against you because they think they're gonna beat you. So go and show them that listen, we're not those guys that's just gonna lay down and get turned over by them. So yeah, I'm very, very disappointed from the Cavs from that cowardly move, man. But moving on to the Magic, obviously they've been decent this year. I mean, Paolo Banchero, first time All-Star, 23, 7 and 5 this year. So he's been really good. Jalen Suggs has been really good as well. He's an all-defense. I think he should make an all-defense team, and that's someone who I'm excited for the matchup, him up against Donovan Mitchell, because I think he's going to cause him a lot of problems. I mean, he's got size on Donovan Mitchell, about a couple inches and length as well, so he's going to be a problem. And the Magic, they have length in the front court as well. You talk about guys like Banchero, as I mentioned earlier. Talk about Mo Wagner, who's surprisingly been decent. Obviously, Franz Wagner as well. He's someone who is really, really good. You want to know how good, Franz Wagner is? Speak to a Chicago Bulls fan, because that's the pick that they gave up in the Vooch trade. And every time I listen to anything Bulls related, they always talk about, we could have had Franz Wagner, and look what he's doing now in the Magic. So they they hate the fact that they potentially gave him up. But yeah, Wagner's been really steady. And you know, one guy I want to big up, Jonathan Isaac. Listen, the Sixers played the Magic the other day. Jonathan Isaac had some possessions on Embiid, and he actually locked him up certain possessions, and I was actually shocked. I mean, obviously he hasn't played a lot of minutes and things like that, but per minute, per possession as a defender, I don't know if there's a lot of guys you can put above Jonathan Isaac, because the length, the size, and like the fact that he can guard multiple positions, like he held his own against Joel Embiid, and he's gonna be a real factor to play with as well. So in terms of like size and things like that, they're gonna cause the Cavs a lot of problems, man. And Wagner, he's someone that can get you 25 a night. Banchero, he's gonna be a problem as well. And I really the only thing I'd say problem wise for the Magic is just lead guard creation issues. Like Jalen Suggs is not really that playmaking type point guard. I think he's more of a 2 than a 1. And Cole Anthony, obviously, he's more of like a 6th man rather than like a starting point guard. But it's not gonna be the greatest series. I'd agree. It's gonna be the NBA TV series. That's it's not 6 p.m. tonight. They're playing. So that's 1 p.m. Eastern time. So that's just gonna be probably in the background for most people. But yeah,
Yeah.
the main thing I'm looking forward to is that Jalen Suggs matchup on Donovan Mitchell potentially and Garland, and also Banchero, see how he fares in his first playoff series. But that being said, I've been critical of the Magic. I've been critical of the Cavs for running from the ground and winning this matchup. Give me the Magic. I'm rooting for the Magic. Give me the Magic in 6. I'm taking the Magic in 6.
Nice.
I'm taking Donovan Mitchell asking out when he becomes a free agent at the end of next year. And
Yep.
you can't run from the ground like that, man. You have to get punished. Like you have to play the game to win. So yeah, Magic in 6.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I totally agree, mate. Yeah, boo on the Cavs, mate, for what they did in that final game, mate. So I can't root for them. So yeah, I think you've pretty much covered it all, guys. So I'd just say, both teams top 10 in defense, lower half in terms of offense. So I don't think you're going to see many high-scoring games in this one, guys. We might be going back to the mid to late 90s. It might be 99, 88 or something. We're kind of in that realm, I think, bro. So I've got Magic in 7, mate. I think it's going to be a tough series, and I think Mosley is a far better coach than Bickerstaff. So I think coaching might come through on this one. So my quick analysis is Magic in 7. So that's it for these then, guys. So we're halfway through. Are we feeling good? We're feeling good about to cover the next conference.
Yeah, let's move up to the West.
Absolutely. So don't forget to like and subscribe, guys, to the YouTube channel, and you can also follow us on the socials at Shooters Lounge 3. So yeah, let's dive right into the West. So kicking us off with the number 1 seed, surprising number 1 seed, I think, to a lot of people. I don't think many people had the OKC Thunder finishing top of the West in any season predictions. I know I definitely didn't in the season prediction pod that we had against the Pelicans, who won the play-in last night against the Sacramento Kings. George, do you want to kick us off with this one, mate? Could you see a potential upset, maybe, or is Clash shining through on this one?
So, as you've said there in block capitals, Matt, no. For me, this is a sweep all day long. This is this is quite I think this is a perfect start for the Thunder. They're going to rock in there, and with very, very, very limited playoff exposure. This is the way that you want to start, don't you? They're going to go up there. First game, they are going to blow the brakes off the Pelicans, and then they're going to start feeling good about themselves. And it's like, actually, this playoff thing's not too hard, is it? Zion. He's done. He's going to be out.
Yeah, it doesn't look good, man.
Yeah. And I mean, fair play to the Pelicans. I thought they were going to lose to the Kings last night. I was very surprised they won that game. But that might be pretty much as good as it gets for them. That might have been that was their big effort, and that's it.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a shame because I can remember a wise man once said that the Pelicans were going to upset a few things this season. Don't know who said that.
That might have been me, bro.
Me.
You as well, yeah.
But yeah, it's not going to happen. Thunder, perfect start for them. It's going to be sweet.
Nice. Okay. GM John?
Yeah, pretty much agree with nearly everything that Jordan said. I think this OKC team, while they don't have anyone that's really been there, done that, they are just extraordinarily well coached. They're great together. They play well together. Chet Holmgren is a great defensive player. I'm been really impressed with him this season. He's done a great job. Obviously, Shea's an MVP candidate, and he's great. With Zion out, I don't think they stand a chance. I think it's 5. Yeah, I'll go 5. 5 game series for the Thunder.
Okay. AB.
Yeah, shout out to Thunder, man. Obviously, Mark Daigneault, runaway coach of the year. I was gonna
Yep.
mention some Jamal Mosley love. Obviously, we just spoke about the Magic recently. He's really done well, obviously, but
Yeah.
Mark Daigneault has just been phenomenal, man. The fact that he's got this OKC team, like they look like they've got a great sort of like chemistry. You see some of their post-game interviews, a lot of people say it's cringe, but it just shows that the chemistry that they have. Like after every win, there's always 3-4 of them in the post-game flash interview. So yeah, obviously MVP Shea, he's been balling out this season. There's been so many times that I would just tap into a Thunder game and he's on 31 points. But yeah, it's been really good. One guy I want to shout is J Dubbers or Jalen Williams, the wing, not the big.
Yeah,
They've got two of them things over there. Yeah, he's really
don't get the wrong one, bro.
yeah, he's been great, man. He's been good for them. Obviously, 20-point scorer for them as well. I think he's the guy. I think he can ascend to an all-star caliber level because he's been improving every month, every single month. He'll average 23 points. He starts off slow, but he's just gradually getting better, and you're seeing that progression as well. So I think he's going to be really great as well. As John mentioned as well, Chet Holmgren as well played all 82. After missing last season,
Yeah,
like
man.
you gotta, and especially in this modern day full of like load management and rest and things like that. The fact that he came out after a season-ending injury suffered 2 off seasons ago, and then comes in this season and plays all 82. You have to show appreciation for that as well. Obviously, getting it done 2 ways as well on the defensive side of things. Obviously, Wembanyama is just Wembanyama, innit? Like he just has to win Rookie of the Year. But when you think about it, though, there has to be a conversation when you think about winning. Because what were the Spurs? Were the Spurs not like the 14th seed out west?
Yeah.
Let's see where they weren't higher than 13th.
14. Yeah, 14. Nailed it, bro.
And then Chet is the 1 seed, and he plays a big part, arguably the second or third best player on that team. So when you think about impact, like I know Wemby defensively, he's averaged a lot of blocks and things like that, but impacting winning, I mean, you gotta give it to Chet, surely. I mean, like, come on, like it's literally polar opposites in the conference. So yeah, but we know they're gonna give it to Wembanyama. Like that's a non-starting conversation.
Yeah.
But I just want to give my flowers to Chet.
No, but AB, just
Yeah.
to jump on the back of that very briefly, I completely agree with you. We're saying it's a non-starter of an argument that Wembanyama is going to win it. It should be a non-starter.
Like he'll win it though, yeah.
But it should be a non-starter of an argument that Chet's going to win it, or Chet's not going to win it. Like he for me, he's as clear as a winner of the Rookie of the Year as Mark Daigneault is for Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
But we'll let the politics and the fanfare dictate that because we know what's going on there.
Yeah.
He should win it for me by a distance.
Yeah.
No, I had money on Chet winning Rookie of the Year, so I kept that quite close, watching that quite closely. By Christmas, mate, I was like, this is in the bag, mate. Chet's winning this bad boy. But second half of the season, mate, Wemby's just he's an alien, isn't he? So I think the first half of the season, Wemby wasn't, but the second half, in just some of the games he took over and stuff, I think it's just the kind of splashy choice. But I think, Chet should definitely get some flowers. He's played the whole season, like you said, man. So
at the same time, though, Matt, like we have this discussion. We've had this twice about MVP and what should really matter. Can you imagine someone averaging the numbers that they're both averaging? If this was an MVP race, Chet would be a unanimous MVP because no one's voting for the guy who's 14th.
Yeah, you reward winning. Yeah.
Certain someone won MVP as a 6th seed though, but listen, let's not get into that. I remember
not again.
Winning MVP as a 6th seed. So that's another conversation anyway. But back to the series. I really like OKC's depth. Isaiah Joe is someone that I've liked a lot. He obviously was in Philly. He got no playing time, man. That's what we speak about Doc Rivers. I mean, him just not giving Isaiah Joe playing time at all. Like he would have been perfect on this Sixers team, but that's neither here nor there because he's doing his thing on OKC. And they've been really good. Yeah, no, I like OKC in this series. Pelicans without Zion, I don't think they stand a chance. CJ McCollum, last couple games for the playing. I mean, last night he was atrocious. He had like 7 points. Like, come on, man, you're meant to be that guy that's meant to be the leader of the team.
Yeah.
So
both
Brandon
playing
Ingram,
games, mate. Both playing games, he struggled. Then.
exactly.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I don't think the Pelicans really stand a shot. Maybe I'll give them a game, Brandon Ingram. And obviously the Thunder are inexperienced as well. It's a young team. So I'll give the Pelicans a game, but I'm going OKC in 5. And yeah, I'm excited to see not Chet. Well, I'm excited to see Chet, but I'm mainly excited to see Shea in this playoff series as the main guy, because a couple years ago, I don't know if you remember Clippers Warriors season, when Shea was on the Clippers, he had a great playoff series. You know, he wasn't the main guy. He wasn't the main guy, but he had like 2 20-point games, an 18-point game, and they played the Warriors tough, man. That was that series where Pat Bev was guarding KD, and then obviously they had Lou Will, Montrezl Harrell, and that was a fun series on 2019 when they played the Warriors and lost in 6. So yeah, I'm excited to see what Shea can do. But yeah, I think he's really. Obviously, he's been an MVP consideration, but this series is really going to give him. If they handle business and beat the Pelicans in 5, going into that next round, whoever they play, they're gonna know that. Listen, even though they're young and inexperienced, we got to take these guys seriously. So yeah, give me OKC in 5.
Okay, nice. I've got it being a bit more difficult for the Thunder, man, than you guys do. I'm not going to lie. I think the Pelicans are they're a big team. They're long. I think they've got a couple of people they can throw at SGA, and then they've got like Alvarado, Herb Jones, pretty decent defenders. Throw at Shea, and then kind of go, well, okay, let somebody else beat us other than Shea, and let's see what the Thunder have got. Like you say, dude, they've had a great regular season. Exceeded expectations. And I think that's pretty safe to say, considering how many more games they've won this year than last year, man. They've had a great season. Other than Shea and maybe Gordon Hayward, who doesn't play a lot of minutes for him, man, they haven't been in this position. These are going to be the biggest games that they've played in. And I think, if like you say, if Zion was playing, then I think it'd be a bit more of a conversation. And it just guts me about Zion, man, because in that game against the Lakers in the play, and he was looking very, very good. Might not have changed the result, but I just think a healthy Zion I think he showed that it's a frightening Zion, a healthy one. Yeah. But it's health is always a question with him, isn't it? So kind of going back, but I've got the Thunder coming through, but I've got the Pelicans taking a couple of games, man. I think it's going to be more difficult than you guys think it is for the Thunder. I've still got the Thunder going through, but I've got them going in 6. So, but we shall see how that one pans out. So moving on to the next one, we have the defending champs. We've got the Denver Nuggets 2nd seed against the king of the play-in, the LA Lakers, because they just seem to be in it every season, getting through, beating the Pelicans. GM, obviously being a Lakers man, dude, do you want to kick us off with this? Have the Lakers got a chance to dethrone the champs?
Yes. Yes is my answer, but I don't feel. I wouldn't say that with my chest. I would nearly whisper it, but yeah. When you have LeBron James on your roster, in my opinion, you always have a chance. But Jokic is the best player in the world right now. I don't think it's even questionable. He's the best player in the world. They are an immense squad. I just think they play basketball the right way. They play team basketball. They're led by a player that he's not selfish. He still gets buckets, but he's not a selfish player. He wants to get his teammates involved. As a center, he has 9 assists a game, which is stupid. Like, it's just absolutely crazy. But I still think the Lakers have a chance. Do I think I have a good chance? No, absolutely not. I think this could go 6. But I still think the Nuggets win in 6.
Yeah.
Just I don't feel strongly about it. I don't think the Lakers as a roster feels particularly strongly about it. They know that Denver the last year or so has really had their number. I enjoy the squad. I like LeBron, AD, D'Angelo Russell, Rui Hachimura, Reeves. Like, I really like our roster, but no one person can stop Jokic. And they're not going to double. They've shown that they don't really want to double team him as well because they think AD can do it himself. AD is about 40 pounds lighter than Jokic, and Jokic uses every single pound of his body to move around that court.
Yeah.
And he's super intelligent. Like, he knows. Like, even I was listening to JJ Redick and LeBron's podcast, and they were talking about Jokic and how just intelligent he is. Like, he got the ball in the high post, and instead of he made it look like he was about to take a shot, but if he did a hook shot, it was a lob for Aaron Gordon.
Yeah.
And he knew exactly that they would collapse in on him, and Aaron Gordon, all he has to do is just make the jump, and it's as easy as bucket as you're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
He knew that the Lakers were going to double team. He knew exactly what they're going to do, and he completely and utterly counteracted it and got an easy bucket for one of his teammates. I just, at this moment in time, I think the Nuggets are at the peak of their powers. I think they're an excellent squad. LeBron's going to have to be MVP LeBron for them to even come out of the series. AD's going to have to be Defensive Player of the Year level to come out of the series. D'Angelo Russell is going to have to really be ice in his veins, 25 points a game for them to come out of the series. If they can find a way to limit, which is, they're not going to stop him. If they can find a way to limit Jokic, they have a chance. But that's a big if, and they don't have that if. Honestly, they don't have that if on the roster. Like, the only reason why, like, we don't. It sounds weird. It's like we don't have a Dwight Howard. We don't have someone who was going. He wasn't bullying Jokic, but he was getting underneath the skin. We don't have that player on a roster. Like, our centers are so slight. Like, I know we have Jackson Hayes, not a big guy. We have Christian Wood, who's been sparsely used, not a particularly big guy. AD's bulkier, but it's not a particularly big guy. Even we've used Jared Vanderbilt at center. He's been injured most of the season, but we just don't have that type of center that is going to limit or stop Jokic. Now, if Jokic gets an injury, I think the Lakers could do really, really well. But it pains me to say, I think this Denver team could run away with it in 6 if we're lucky. Could be 5. But they seem to have our number this season. I don't feel confident about it. But I always believe in my squad and my team and hope for the best. But I also listen to Ryman reasoning and rationale. And my rationale says that it's going to be a Denver victory, and I don't think they're going to make much respect doing it. I think 6 would be a very optimistic loss. But again, if we take game 1 or even take game 2, I think it could shift. But the Jokic is just phenomenal. And I really enjoy this Denver roster. Mike Malone's a great coach. They're class organization at this moment in time from top to bottom. So I respect the hell out of them, and if they beat us, I can see them easily getting to the finals very, very easily and probably winning it.
Nice. George, do you have some thoughts about the Nuggets-Lakers series?
John, that's really cute. That's really cute. And I'm going to slam you like you would slam me. You have got no chance, absolutely none whatsoever, of beating this Denver Nuggets team. However, before I even get into that, Matt, I'm going to go back to what you said at the beginning. And this is a direct shot at the Boston Celtics' best friend, LeBron James. How's it going? You said 3 years ago, whoever came up with that shit tournament should be fired. On interview, it is recorded. You can read, you can watch and listen to that. And yet, it has saved his skin pretty much every year since its invention. So, Are you sure about that comment? Look, you know,
But
they've not.
has it though? They would have been the seventh. They would have been what? Where they finish? 7th, 8th in the West.
But last year it definitely saved them.
8th, yeah, right this year, man. Yeah.
8th, yeah.
Oh.
So they would have been in the playoffs anyway if it wasn't for the playing just an extra game.
But you know,
such a bitch ass up Jordan.
well, last year it saved you. However, the Nuggets and Lakers. Wow, this is like Real Madrid going for a day out and playing Bristol Rovers, isn't it?
Come on, man. Come on, bro.
Right.
I can't believe you just said that.
This is going to be the series that just ends Anthony Davis in the Lakers. You know, oh, what a season he's had! He's had a really few good games and everything else. Jokic is going to put him down. You said to me earlier about, you know, dogs getting put down and like, you know, Jimmy Butler's a dog that's been put down. Anthony Davis is going to get put down on his arse. I struggle to see a world where the Lakers even win one game. I mean, Jokic gets injured. I still struggle to find an argument for the Lakers winning this series. It's all politics. This has come up a few times before, but it's internal politics for the Lakers, like it always has, and it always has been. That's why they're not as successful as they could have been in the last few years. It's all the politics. And this is another. This
Doesn't
is
help that they had dog shit coaching.
Yeah, but isn't that not politics? It's the owners that are putting the guys there that they want there, rather than what's actually going to benefit the team.
This time around, it wasn't. It was Blinkett's decision.
Yeah, but was it? That's what they're saying. But was it? Was it really? Look, I'll stop. I'll stop taking a piss. But realistically, I think the Lakers will pinch one. I think it probably will be a meaningless game 4 when the Nuggets are already 3-0 up, and then they'll get bounced back in Denver 4-1. I've got the Nuggets in 5. It's hard to believe that team that were in the bubble are the same. You know, you've got the same 2 guys leading the way, and we've not even seen anything close to that level. And I actually thought after that bubble run that the Lakers were going to be unstoppable for the next 3 or 4 years. As much as I hated to think it, I firmly believed that Anthony Davis was that guy. And in the weirdest way, I feel disappointed. And you know, they've never really threatened to get back to that. It's a shame. It is a shame. Do I feel bad about it? Absolutely not whatsoever. But it is a shame, John. Like I mean this. I expected more from those 2 in LA, and they're not going to get another chip ever together. Obviously, you know, time's running out. That's not a dig. That's a fact. Time is running out. How do you solve the Lakers problem? You could do that in a whole episode, man. That could take 6 hours to cover that. How do you solve the Lakers problem? The Celtics, you know, the other team that's really good. They just fired their coach and made him the GM, and all of a sudden they're a much better team. That was a simple fix, but for the Lakers, you need to gut out so many things need to change in that franchise, because it's like every single year it's a circus. It is genuinely like ever since that bubble win, the Lakers have just become a joke. Everyone's taking the piss. This is a team that is, as much as I'm never going to like the Lakers. Obviously, that goes without saying. But you're the joint most winning championship basketball team of all time, and you're getting talked about like you're getting talked about like you're the Cleveland Cavaliers. Like that cannot be happening. I don't know what is going on internally. I don't know why this has been allowed to continue for the last 4 years. I don't understand it. I really don't.
I can tell you exactly what's wrong with the Lakers. What's wrong with the Lakers is I can do it in 2 minutes. What's wrong with the Lakers? What's wrong with the Lakers is rather than living up to being one of the biggest franchises in professional sports, they still run the place like it's a mom and pop shop. Jeannie Buss genuinely thinks, oh, we're a family organization. That's fine. That's great. I love the fact that you treat your players and your coaches and your staff like they're extended members of your family. This is a fucking business. If you're one of the biggest franchises in the entire world, you bring in the best. You don't settle for in what world do you bring when LeBron James and Anthony Davis are on the roster? In what world do you bring a first-time coach onto the roster? In what world? That person has to learn on the job. When you have players like that, you don't learn on the job. You bring in someone who is experienced in winning, experienced in competing, has good tactical nuance, who's respected in the league. I'm not saying that Darvin Ham isn't respected and doesn't deserve his chance. Not at all. But he was never set up for success with the Lakers. The Lakers are not a cash-rich team. They keep going over the salary cap, but they're not a cash-rich team. The best thing that ever could happen to the Lakers probably is that they sell the Lakers to a billionaire like Steve Ballmer or some shit. I know Steve Ballmer owns Clippers. Sell to a billionaire who's willing to be ruthless and be like, okay, you're a crap coach, you're gone. Rob Pelinka, you've done well occasionally, but it's championship or bust, so you're gone. Oh, Steve Kerr, you're kind of semi-available. Okay, you're the next coach. Oh, Joe Lacob, who used to be on what's his name? The guy that was the GM of the Golden State Warriors. Whatever. But he's one of the better ones in the industry. Go out and get him. That's the moves you need to make are just go for I am a United fan as well. At this moment in time, United are trying to get best in class people in the back room. They're trying to get people from different organizations who've succeeded and been good, and they keep using we want best in class. As the Lakers, if you can control what you can control, get best in class from top to bottom. If you treat it like a mom and pop shop, you're going to be looked at as a mom and pop shop. Like they change their roster so frequently, it's ridiculous. They wanted a big three. Now they got their big three with Russ, didn't work. Now they want to go for extra depth, which is fine. It worked. Then you won't pay them. Then they scrimped the most annoying thing the Lakers have done in most recent history, apart from the Russell Westbrook trade, is not giving Alex Caruso $9 million a year. They didn't want to pay the luxury tax on that because if it's $9 million, it's basically paying 18 because they have to give 9 to the league. And they lost one of the better defenders in the entire league and a core member of their squad just because they didn't want to pay the tax. That makes them look like small time. And I'm going off over my 2 minutes, so I'll move on to something else now. But
That's all right.
No, the Lakers organization have just really sold themselves short. And Jordan's right. They should have they should have kept most of that team that they had, and they could have won maybe another championship, but they didn't. They're like, oh no, we want another superstar, and we're going to get rid of Kyle Kuzma, who was a big part of our team and a really good depth piece. We're going to get rid of KCP, who's now on the Nuggets, who's a really good depth piece. We're going to get rid of some of our picks. They shot themselves in the foot because they want to keep changing and they want to keep. In my mind, I think they just want to keep building excitement for the Lakers brand within the league by constantly making moves and constantly putting themselves in the news. Some of the best organizations in sports, I give Nuggets as an example, don't really change that much. Like from season to season, they don't really change that much. They have their Jokic, they have Murray, they have Porter, they have Aaron Gordon, they have KCP. They have a core of players they stick to who know what to play together. Rather than bringing in someone new every single season who has to learn a new coach's playbook, has to learn how to play with another player, stick with what got you to the dance, stick with what won you games. That's what's happened to the Lakers. The Lakers just simply make changes for the sake of changes. Do not go for best in class. They need to start holding themselves to a higher esteem than they actually see themselves, because if they continue to see themselves as a mom and pop shop, the rest of the league will too.
Nice. That's does that mean you're available, GM John? Was that your pitch?
The hilarious thing is, I honest to God think I could do a good job, and that's probably me being my ego. I honest to God think I could help the organization, but that's just me. But the gas thing is, I'm a manager now. I know what I know, and I know what I don't know, and I surround myself with people who know what I don't know. Rob Pelinka is basically doesn't have an assistant GM. He's the vice president of basketball operations. So he's the vice president of basketball operations. He is the general manager, and he's notorious for having being very minimalistic in terms of his front office staff. That's bullshit. It's any kind of organization should have a brain trust that they can rely upon, who bounces ideas off them and knowledge. It's just ridiculous what they're doing with this organization.
Okay, George, do you have a retort?
Very quickly, because I feel like we're neglecting AB.
Yeah, sitting there patiently, man.
The last thing I'll say is that for anyone who has ever watched wrestling, they will get this reference. Jeannie Buss is Ted Turner.
Wow.
Yeah, honestly, John, I don't think she gets anywhere near as much frustration as she deserves, because I think she's out of her depth at this point. She's run it into the wall, and now she doesn't have a clue what she's doing with it. It's a runaway train, and she's lost all control.
These are the Raven playing inaugural champions that we're just poo-pooing like this. Come on, man.
Well, yeah, B, you have a point, bro. You have a point, mate.
Yeah. Listen, 50 years down the line, when we talk about the playing and it has more credibility, we're going to talk about the Lakers beating the Pacers.
Yeah, in-season tournament champs.
Yeah.
Do you want to give us some thoughts, AB, on this series before George goes on another 7-minute monologue?
Yeah, it's going to be, obviously, we know Denver Nuggets, best team in the NBA. We know the Celtics were the best team in the regular season this year, but based off, obviously, the Nuggets coming off a championship and having the best player in the NBA, who I think is Jokic. Yeah, I just feel like the Lakers, even with Bron and AD and all those guys, and D'Angelo Russell has been really, really good recently as well, especially in the play, and he's really been balling out. But I worry about him because he's one of those guys where if he sees 3 shots go in, you know he's going to take another 5, and it's like, you have to get that fine margin of, okay, my shot's falling, but still, let me get, I'm playing with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. I need to get us going, especially if you're going to be
D-Lo's never seen a 3 he doesn't like, bro, has he?
He's never seen a shot he doesn't like.
Yeah,
but but Nuggets is different level, man. We saw last season they were trying to find some comfort in the Lakers by saying it was a close sweep, but a sweep is still a sweep. So
a sweep's still a sweep, bro.
Exactly,
Yeah, that's it.
There's no such thing as a close sweep, man. I don't believe in that. But even though all 4 games were kind of close, but still they got swept. So yeah. As John mentioned, I don't think the Lakers really have anyone that can really contend with Jokic. And back in the day in the bubble when they played them, obviously Dwight Howard was the guy who really got under his skin, as John mentioned earlier. But yeah, I just feel like the Nuggets, I feel like they were coasting at points in this time of the season. A lot of people were mentioning something about, what was it, championship, not championship blues, but championship, I forgot what the word is, where
hangover. Something.
Yes, that's it, championship hangover. But I don't think that the Nuggets are going to have that. I think Michael Maloney is a very fiery character, and you already know the history between the Nuggets and the Lakers as well. So yes. That's going to be interesting for sure.
Yeah, could get a little tasty at times, mate, possibly. What score are you thinking then, AB?
The thing is as well, obviously the Nuggets, you have to think about the Michael Porter Jr. situation as well, obviously. With what's been going on recently.
With his brother, you mean?
Yes. Well, he's both of his brothers, really.
Oh,
so, Yeah. So that's definitely something to think about going forward and how that will affect his game. But I think I'm gonna go with the Nuggets in 5.
Okay. Nice. I think it's pretty much echoing what you guys have already said, kind of thing. I think Murray absolutely killed the Lakers last year. Murray absolutely feasted on on the Lakers backcourt. It looks like it's going to be another first round exit for LeBron. I think Davis has got to be given some kind of credit because he as much as we lambasted him over his health issues in the past and how many games he's missed, he's played pretty much all of this season, and his stats are way up there. So you have to kind of give him some kind of credit for that for sure. As much as we lambast him when he doesn't play, you've got to kind of give him his flowers when he does play and he's playing well. But the Nuggets are just a juggernaut. I think Gordon he's kind of got that stature that you can kind of put him on LeBron. He might not going to stop LeBron, but he's kind of got the physical attributes that could kind of maybe hang with him. So I'm also Nuggets in 5. No disrespect, GM John, but I think the Nuggets are going to move on to round 2. I'm afraid. So give Jordan a call. Cancun Holiday Services, best rates around. Yes. Sorry, GM. It's the reality, I'm afraid. So moving on to the next one, guys. I've got a kind of lasting of much interest into this one. We've got the 3rd seed Minnesota Timberwolves against the 6th seed my Phoenix Suns. I think I'll kick off this one, guys. I think the Suns, we had a real tough stretch the last 10 games of the season. They were all against playoff teams. We went 7-3 during that stretch. We've been up and down all year. It's some games it looks great and it's working, and then the next game, the effort's completely not there, and the defense is almost laughable at times, and it's just like, and it seemed to be 1 step forward, 2 steps back. But I like this matchup against Minnesota. We've won every game that we've played them this season. I think, unfortunately for Minnesota, it's just a bad matchup. We say this all the time, guys, don't we? In the playoffs, it's sometimes you match up against a team you don't match up well against, and it's kind of you're running into problems, and the season can be over pretty quickly. I think this is a bad matchup for Minnesota. I don't know what Minnesota are going to do with Towns. Who's Towns going to guard against the Suns? He might have to guard somebody like Grayson Allen, and I don't think he's going to be able to hang with him. Gobert's probably going to have his way. He's probably, he's going to have maybe 20 and 20 every game, but they obviously have Anthony Edwards, who, I think we're a fan of on this show, an amazing young player on the cusp of being, one of them top guys. But he's struggled against us in the games that he's played. So we've done a decent job. If the Suns perform like they can, obviously Booker, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant. Beal in these last 10 games he's playing the best that he's played all season. He's had 1 or 2 injuries. But the last 10 games, he's been brilliant. I think he's shooting like 60% from 3 in the last 10 games or something ridiculous. So he's looking a lot better, and he's kind of brought in defensively as well. His effort on defense has been great in the last 10 as well. If we perform like we can, mate, I like us taking this series. And can you call it an upset? I suppose it is when you're the 6th seed playing the 3rd seed. But I've got the Suns moving on and going out in 6 games, man. So, GM John, what do you think about this series, man?
Yeah, I agree with you. This is not a good match for Timberwolves. Like, Timberwolves will excel if people plan to go inside and score in the paint. This team has just snipers everywhere. They're not going to do that. They don't really have. The only person they really need to have in the paint is Yusuf Nurkic, just to grab some rebounds and dish it out. But other than that, there's no point in Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's not going to be in the paint. Bradley Beal's not going to be in the paint. Devin Booker's not going to be in the paint. Eric Gordon's not going to be in the paint. Grayson Allen's not going to be in the paint. They're just going to shoot it from outside. And, well, it could. The worst thing, maybe 1 or 2 games you could see the Suns hit a shooting slump, and maybe they lose that game. But there's too much game-changing talent on the Suns roster, especially with their big three. Like, to have Bradley Beal as your third option is ridiculous. Like, that's just madness. I think for me, I think this could be 5 Suns in 5. I can maybe see the Timberwolves taking a game, but I honest to God, after a game like 2 or 3, I could see one of Gobert or Towns being dropped to the bench. They're kind of leading the bench unit and kind of trying to beat them that way. But very quickly, I think they're going to realize that. Go smaller.
Going small, maybe. Yeah.
Go small and have more defense out in the perimeter.
Mm.
One and 2 guys are going to bench unit get dropped before the series ends, and kind of lead the bench unit and see if they can beat you that way. But no, I'm fairly confident the Suns take this pretty handily.
Okay, nice.
I'll say 5.
AB, have you got some thinking about this one, bro?
Yeah, looking forward to this series as well. I mean, obviously, number 1 ranked defense, Minnesota Timberwolves, and this shows you got to give, anchored by Rudy Gobert, who probably win another Defensive Player of the Year. So, I mean, you got to give him his flowers. Well, you have to give him his flowers anyway because he's a multiple Defensive Player of the Year award winner. But he's switched teams. Obviously, there was a lot said about what the Timberwolves gave up in all those picks and like Walker Kessler and all that kind of stuff. But he's come in, anchored this Timberwolves side to be the number 1 defense in the league, and is about to go on a playoff run. So yeah, you got to respect the game, man. You got to respect the game. And yeah, Anthony Edwards, we already know how highly I think of him personally. I'm looking forward to how he gets on this year. I mean, last year in the playoffs, I forgot who they played. Was it the Pelicans? Who did Timberwolves play in that first round series? And it was just chaotic. And
was it?
Yeah. I can't remember. It's just slipped my mind. But yeah, last year obviously they really showed their age.
It was the Clippers, series, but yeah. I think so. Yeah, or is it the play-in? Were they in the play-in last year?
No, the play-in was when Pat Bev done that whole celebration for. I started crying like he won the finals. But they really showed their age last year in the playoffs. But yeah, I think it's another year, so they're gonna have more experience, and I'm looking forward to Anthony Edwards, especially this series as well. The Grizzlies, it was the Grizzlies they played. That was it. That was it last year. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and yeah, from a Phoenix Suns standpoint, I think this is really close. I think most of these matchups, I mean, seeding almost doesn't really matter because you look at it and I think, especially in the West, all the teams were separated. Like it was very tight going into the last, going into the stretch end. So it's not like you have it's not like a real 3 versus 6 seed where the 3 seed will undoubtedly be the favorite. But yeah, in terms of the Suns, obviously, Matt, you will know this. One thing that has been reverberated around Suns is their late game closing. Like their late game efficiency has been so poor. I mean, I don't have the record in close games in clutch. Obviously, when it's between a 5-point game with less than 5 minutes remaining, is very poor. And that's surprising when you have guys that Book, Bill, KD, some of the best closers in the game in Booker and Durant. So yeah, that's something that I'll definitely have to pay close attention to because I just can't understand why something like that will happen when you've got guys like that. You've got Grayson Allen as well, who they just signed him to an extension, right, Matt? Is that right? Signed him to an extension the other day. Yeah, I think he led the league in 3-point percentage as well. So he's someone who is a great fit alongside Booker and Durant as well. So yeah, this is gonna be a great series as well. I'm looking forward to it. I think Nurkic is going to be really good as well. He's going to be a really important battling with obviously Karl Towns and Gobert. I'm not sure if I don't know if they'll go small. I don't know if Chris Finch will go small, but we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, Towns is coming back from his injury. He played in the last regular season game. But yeah, it's going to be a good series, man. I think it's going to be a good series. I don't know if a lot of defense is going to be played, but I'm expecting some scoring outbursts from Booker, Durant, and obviously Ant Edwards as well. So yeah, that being said, I think I'm taking the Suns in Game 7. In fact, no, I'm taking the Suns in Game 7. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of question marks surrounding them in late game execution and things like that. I think the Timberwolves with their defense as well, I think they're gonna clamp down on the Suns. yeah, defensively they're going to be a problem with Gobert and obviously Ant Edwards. I think Ant Edwards is one of those guys. Yeah, I won't be surprised late in the game he's gonna want that Kevin Durant matchup or that Devin Booker matchup. He's one of those guys. He takes pride in his defense. I mean, I keep mentioning the game against the Pacers in the regular season where he had the game-winning chase down block. He went out like 2-3 times through injury and had a 40-point game as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, I think it's going to be a good game. I think down the stretch, I'm hoping for close games as well. So yeah, it's going to be a good series. But I think the Suns, just because obviously you've got Kevin Durant, man. I mean, you can't go against. You've got Devin Booker as well. Like these are cerebral, proper scorers and one of the best players in the league. So I think that quality will just about tip over the edge and be too much for the Timberwolves to kind of deal with. But yeah, Suns in 7.
Nice, mate. George, you have any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, mate, I'll keep it short and sweet. I think the Suns will win this in 6.
Okay.
Yeah, there's been a lot of sort of disrepute at the Suns. It's been a bit here and there, but they're the X factor. They're the surprise package. I think that makes them dangerous because they're unpredictable. Being unpredictable doesn't always mean that you're going to be good. Sometimes you can be unpredictable and rubbish.
Yeah.
But I think with the Suns that they are good enough that they're going to be unpredictable and dangerous, and especially with the lack of experience, like AB was just saying, you know, they've not really done it. You know, they got that playoff win in the play, and it was like, wow, you know, shirts flying everywhere. Oh my god, yeah. Well, this is reality, and the Suns have got proven winners in their ranks. I expect them to win this. I think, Matt, to be honest, like you were saying, mate, it's a good matchup. I'd be very disappointed if you didn't win this. I think this is even though they're the 3 seed, I think this is very gettable for the reasons I've just said.
Yeah. It's fallen very nice for us, mate. It was the matchup we kind of wanted. Didn't want Denver round 1, obviously, or yeah, it was the right matchup for us guys. So yeah, I see us pulling through. So yeah, move on to the. I think have we done now? No, we've got one last one. We've got the Clippers, 4th seed against the Dallas Mavericks, 4-5. They've. I think they played last time in maybe 21 or something like that. So
seems like they play every year.
Yeah, it does seem that way. Yeah, they didn't last year, but yeah, I think a couple of years before that they did. I think it went 7. AB, actually, we'll go GM John. Sorry, mate. GM John, do you want to give us your thoughts on this one, bro? Is he there?
This will be the end of the Los Angeles Clippers, as you know it. I'm 2 Dallas Mavericks with their 2 players. I honestly, God, think they might be the most talented duo in the league. Genuinely, I think they're the most talented duo in the league. I don't think Paul George wants to be there anymore. I think Kawhi is Kawhi. I think James Harden is going to be the ruining of the Los Angeles Clippers. I think he's going to go full dickhead mode and try and take over. To me, they're death to him. I'd say this is still in 6 with the Mavericks.
Okay. AB, do you echo them thoughts or?
I don't know, but this is the series I'm looking forward to probably the most. Actually, I mean, Clippers, Mavericks, Luka going up against Kawhi and PG. Caused them fits the last 2 times they met in the playoffs, albeit the Mavs are 0-2 against the Clippers in the playoffs, but Luka's averaging 34 points per game against them in the playoffs, which is just crazy, man. I mean, they can't stop him, man. They can't stop him. But I feel like the Mavs this time around, they have a more well-rounded team. I mean, Kyrie Irving's been phenomenal this season, man. We never ever question Kyrie Irving's game. There's always the stuff around him, like that, the distractions and things like that. But in terms of his game, we all know what Kyrie Irving can bring, and I think he makes a great running mate next to Luka. I like the moves that they made in the trade market as well, bringing in Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington. They've been great. I mean, the defense has held its own. And obviously bringing in Derek Jones Jr. into the lineup as well, probably their best wing defender, I'd say, is a big thing as well, because that's helped them to become a much better defense. So yeah, I think that the Mavericks are a lot more well equipped to handle the threat that the Clippers have, and I feel like there'll be a lot that they're more equipped than they were the last 2 times they played in the playoffs. And I feel like they'll have the best player in the series, Luka. I mentioned it earlier. I mean, he's just insane, man. He's 34 points he's averaging against the Clippers in the playoffs. And yeah, from a Clippers perspective, obviously we don't know about the situation around Kawhi Leonard, and it's going to be very, very disappointing if he can't lace him up and be involved in this series, because like it's just gonna be disappointing, because we know the baller that he is, and without him, obviously, we speak about guys missing their main players. I mean, he's similar to Giannis, he's similar to Embiid, similar to Jimmy Butler. You lose that sort of caliber of player, and obviously game plan almost just goes to shred, really. So yeah. It would be interesting to see if Paul George can carry that burden. Obviously Terrence Mann and those guys as well. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the Mavericks. Third time lucky. I think they beat the Clippers, man. I think they beat the Clippers, and I think the Clippers, not as drastic as GM John was saying, but I think the Clippers really gonna have to have like some sort of restructure going into the offseason. Whether or not they'll keep obviously James Harden, whether or not Paul George wants to stay. He's been linked with the Sixers heavily. I don't know if he's using it for leverage, but obviously the Sixers will have a lot of significant cap space going into the offseason. So apparently Paul George would be interested in signing with the Sixers. So we don't know if he'll stay. Obviously moving into this new arena next year as well. The Intuit Dome, or I think it's called. So yeah, you know, Steve Ballmer, he want to spend that money to get fans in that arena, because you don't want to go into that arena as a rebuilding team or a team that's not in contention. So yeah,
you want some big names going in that arena, bro, don't you?
Exactly.
You want some big guns, man. Yeah.
So yeah, give me the Mavs in 6. I think Luka gets them over the edge. I think Kyrie Irving plays a significant part in this series as well. And I think their newly acquired defense in Daniel Gafford, PJ Washington, those guys will really hold their own. And yeah, so Clippers in Mavericks in 7.
Mavericks in 7, yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Jude?
Sorry, I didn't realise I was on mute. I decided to realise that before I started speaking this time. Yeah, look, this is a battle of, in my opinion, the best 2 owners the NBA may have ever seen in terms of passion and support behind the team. Certainly, in my opinion, it's a shame John's not here to hear this because he'll be shocked. Since Dr. Buss at the Lakers, I think these two are brought back. You know, we know how passionate Mark Cuban is about the Mavs, and we know how passionate Steve Ballmer is about his Clippers. Has that gone through? Did he not sell the team? Oh yeah. Well.
He still owns some of the team, not majority anymore. No.
Okay, yeah.
But he's still at most games. That's not changed. That's not changed. He's still there as much as he can, and especially with the hundreds or thousands of business interests that he's got, the fact that he's still there all the time. Yeah. This is, I agree with AB. This is, in my opinion, the pick of the bunch for the playoffs in the first round. This is the pick. Unlike the alternative in the East side, this is actually interesting. And the 4 and 5 seed will do war. It is a damn shame that Adam is in the good building, reading the good book. He's not with us. He would love this talk about James Harden.
Oh dear, yes, yeah.
This should be the end of James Harden in the NBA.
Wow.
Because he is going to stink this place up so bad, they're going to need a new arena.
Jesus.
I completely agree with what John said. He will try and take this over because we know what he is like.
The man does have priors. The man does have priors, doesn't he, to be fair?
You know, Kawhi, the issue with Kawhi is the same issue that there always has been. Yes, he's an amazing player. There's no one's questioning that. And we know he's a bit of an odd character. but he doesn't have the spine to stand up and say to his teammates, "You need to stop doing that." He won't. He may be behind closed doors, but I don't believe that for a second. The fact that when he was leaving the Spurs, he couldn't even release his own statement. He had to get a family member to do it for him. Says all you need to know. He's not gonna front these things out, and that is the issue. This experiment has failed, and it has failed dramatically. This was supposed to be the next dynasty. Well, congratulations, because you are a dynasty. You're a dynasty of shit. This will go down as one of the. This will be up there with when Scottie Pippen went to the Rockets to join up with Hakeem and
Charles.
It will go down in that bracket. It should have been something amazing, and it just wasn't. It just really wasn't. It's failed dramatically. If Luka can beat the Clippers without James Harden, when they were probably better, on his own with no support, why on earth would you ever think that the Clippers can beat him with a worse team when he's got?
He didn't beat them though. The Mavs haven't beat the Clippers in the playoffs.
Yeah, the Clippers they won, didn't they? In 7.
Yeah. They beat them twice.
I thought they beat him in 7 the first time.
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
Well, there was a case where they were like, "Oh, we want an easier seat." Okay. I don't know what's happened there. That must be a butterfly effect moment. I was confused.
Man, you need to have a word to your stats guy, mate.
Mate, honestly, I was actually convinced that is one for the blooper reel.
There's going to be a blooper reel at the end of this season.
All right, to change that slightly. Okay, so it has taken 7 games to beat Luka on his own. He's now got Kyrie Irving, who is a very willing co-pilot. He's got no issues whatsoever, despite what you might think. Yeah, and like what you were saying, Matt, his main problem it's his attitude. It is nothing to do with what he does on the court. Or I can't remember. It might have been you who said it, AB. We've never doubted his skill and what a player he is. It's the attitude and all the off the court stuff that's the problem. But that seems to have just disappeared because he's in a market that isn't getting looked at. Not like being in New York, in Brooklyn, or with LeBron in Cleveland. He's now got that sort of bit more quiet exposure without having people jumping down his throat, and he can just get on and ball. That's what he wants to do, right? So, we're seeing a reborn Kyrie Irving, and he'd probably love that statement. This is a rebirth of Kyrie Irving. I struggle to see how the Clippers are going to win this. Like I've said, if it's taken 7 games, I'll stand corrected on that one. But if it's taken 7 games to beat Luka on his own, and you've now got a worse team with Luka, with someone who is perfectly complementary to his game, I don't see how they're going to win this. I've got the Mavs in 6. And it could be, I'm bordering on 5, but I think that's too bold. So I'll go with 6.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Obviously there's a big question with Kawhi, isn't there? He's been out a few games now, swelling of his knee as the kind of diagnosis. So again, it's a question mark, isn't it? If Kawhi's not a full go, then it's going to be a tough. I think the Clippers have got more depth than the Mavs, I think. But since Mavs made that trade, they've been pretty good since the All-Star break, haven't they? So. But the Clippers, they've got more talent, I would say, as a whole than the Mavs have. But I think, Mavs have got the best player in the series. But I don't know. I think Ty Lue's like one of the top coaches. I think he'll find a way if he can. At some point, Luka and Kyrie have got to sit. So what are Dallas bringing on while they sit is my biggest worry. And I think Clippers have got a deeper roster. Like you say, Harden's had his problems. So's George, to be honest. If I think Kawhi will be a go for this series, I think it's going to go 7, but I think home court's going to prevail. I've got Clippers in 7, mate, so I'm going against you guys. But I think it's going to be a tight one, this one. So, but I've got Clippers going through. So that's it, guys. Just last thing before we go quickly, guys. Have you got a couple? Who do you think is going to make the finals and who's going to win it all, man? Just give us a quick one. AB.
Are we doing that today?
You don't have to. We can leave it if you want, but
Never know, though.
Just a quick one, AB. Don't have to be long, mate. Not like me.
But the first, it's still first round. Obviously, like Nuggets are the team to beat, man. Nuggets are the team to beat. Until I see otherwise, then I gotta go with the Nuggets. But obviously, yeah, I'm backing the Nuggets to go back to back, which would, well, I wouldn't be the most pleased if it happens. But I mean, you gotta show respect and you gotta be realistic as to what I've seen these 82 games. So yeah, Nuggets are the team to beat.
Fair. George?
I wonder who I'm going to say.
Is the heart going to rule the head here, or I don't know?
There is no heart and head. The heart and head are saying the same thing.
Oh, we're in sync. We're in sync.
It's going to be a Nuggets final, and it's going to be a Celtics final, and it is going to be Celtics in 5. Print it on the front page.
Man, you've come in hot today, bro. You've come in hot today, man.
How you weren't even saying, Matt, how cautious I was to begin with, but you know what? I just don't care anymore.
Yeah, mate, we're into hour 3, mate. We're loosened up now, mate.
It takes me back. It takes me back.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got Celtics Nuggets, but I've got Nuggets back to back, mate. I think this team's gonna, how difficult it is to go back to back, mate. I think this team's going to be one of them. So it's a special thing. It's tough to go back to back, man. So not many teams have done it over the years. So I've got the Nuggets repeating, mate. But it will be fun finding out, mate, if that's the finals, guys. That's for sure. Celtics Nuggets would be tasty, I think is the word. So yeah, that's it, guys. I think we better call it there because I think well, I've got to go work. So do you want to give yourself some self promotion before we head out? AB, tell us where people can find you, bro.
Yeah, Clutch New Media. Obviously hoping to do probably some watch alongs in the playoffs as well. And then this is the time of the season, so we'll be locked in and we'll be rooting for the Sixers and just trying to be as balanced as we can going into these playoffs. But yeah, looking forward to these matchups, man. As we discussed, like a lot of seedings, a lot of teams, they're not necessarily the seed you think they are. So yeah, looking forward to a great playoffs, man.
Yeah, man. Dreams are dashed and dreams are made. Absolutely. George, where can we find Cancun Holiday Services?
Yeah, you can find me. You can find me on the artist formerly known as Twitter X. NBA _infamous. I cover all sorts really. So you probably get really bored of me after a couple of weeks and not bother. But if you do want to talk shit, that's where you can find me.
Absolutely. Cheers, bro. Thanks a lot, gents, for coming in and agreeing to do it. And to GM John as well, who had to duck out. Really appreciate it, guys. But I'm Matt at Post Up 323. You can rewatch this, guys, on YouTube, and also I'll upload it in podcast form so you can listen to it on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow us on the socials at Shooters Lounge 3. We'll be back on Monday, guys, live at 8 p.m, where we shall discuss what's happened over the weekend and how our predictions are up in smoke already. So that'll be interesting. So that's it for us, guys. Thanks a lot for everybody who's dropped in and in the comments and stuff. So really appreciate it. So we will see you live on Monday night. Take care, guys.